Stern sued him here in New York in state court for defamation. So then, when the state court decided that the president could be sued, because he had argued that he can't be sued because he's a sitting president, the state court said, no, that's not the case. We're going to proceed with this lawsuit. The Department of Justice, in an unusual move, interceded. They then filed to take charge of this case. And now this federal judge here in Manhattan denying that, saying that the Department of Justice cannot intervene in this lawsuit. The next step, obviously, is that this is going to have to wind its way through the courts, but nonetheless, a loss here for the president and also the Department of Justice, Jim.
Shimon, good to have you on top of it. Thanks very much, and we will be right back.
I can't tell you what it's like for me, a woman walking down the street who's used to walking around unnoticed, with nobody ever looking at me, and people stopping me and saying thank you, and with the tears welling in their eyes, and taking my hand and saying, I can't tell my story, thank you for telling yours.
But there was a time you thought you couldn't tell your story either.
I write an advice column in Elle magazine. I've written it for 26 years. And for 26 years, I've been reading letters from women complaining about their finances, their love lives, their sex lives. And there comes a line in almost every single letter where the cause of the problem is revealed, and that cause is men. And so for years, I've been advising women to get rid of men. Then in 2017, the Harvey Weinstein bombshell hit by Megan Twohey and Jodi Kantor. And my mail, the letters coming into my column, completely changed from black to white. Now women were asking me, should I come forward and report my boss? Should I call the sheriff when next time my husband tries to beat up our dog? My stepson, I think, is molesting my daughter. And I thought, they're coming to me for advice, and I've been holding back all these years. It's time. It's time. And I did it.
And your book includes so much beyond Trump, and I promise I'm going to get there in just a minute. But I do want to ask you about a couple of the developments that have happened since the New York Magazine cover. There's Donald Trump Jr. saying, hey, as long as the media keeps giving these nut jobs unfettered airtime, they will keep coming. But of course, we know that, and so does the media, so they're happy to use a truly sick person for their political gains.
This is
He's talking about you.
I know, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating. There's a reason why women hesitate to come forward and tell the truth, a really strong reason. A, they will be dragged through the mud. B, they will be dumped on the muck heap of, this back and forth. C, they'll be threatened. And D, they'll put their reputations, their very reputations, on the line. They'll put their lives on the line, and they'll put their livelihoods on the line. There's no reason for me to come forward and put everything on the line unless I thought it would help other women. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm not sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry.
Sounds like that's what you want Trump Jr. to know.
I wouldn't deign to want him to know anything.
My colleague CNN's Sarah Murray spoke with your book editor who said, we purposely came out with the New York Magazine cover story 10 days before the book so that all the Trump coverage would happen. Then you could talk more about the rest of the book. It seems like a logical strategy to me. You describe experiences with former CBS boss Les Moonves and others. What do you want the purpose of the book to be after all this Trump conversation is maybe over?
Well, it's a merry romp. It's a merry romp. I got into my car with the intention of going to towns named after women and getting out of the car and asking people, what do we need men for? And let me tell you, Brian, the answers were completely shocking and marvelous. Then, of course, because they were talking and the Weinstein story broke, I couldn't help but remember a few of the hideous men in my own life. I'm just want to warn everybody, this is not a Trump book. It is a merry romp through the towns of America, finding out from women, what do we need men for? That is what it is about.
Heck of a journey.
Oh, I wish you could have been there.